I'm not actually going to start tonight with what you might expect, the shock unemployment figures today, maybe the astonishing immigration ones, or the new threats to our gas supplies. In January, I actually said that this would be the year when we had to come together. People would want to come together when there's so much now that's being tried to divide, especially after last year's race referendum. We had to look for what united us and build respect again for these symbols and the institutions and rituals that remind us that we are, or must be, part of something bigger than us all, Australia. And today in Parliament we saw exactly that. And I want to thank the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese. As I'll show you, this kind of thing could instantly make a real difference, which we saw in Parliament today. 2 weeks ago, I told you about the death of the only son of former Defence Minister Joel Fitzgibbon. Now, Lance Corporal Fitzgibbon, Jack Fitzgibbon, was a member of our Special Forces, and he died in a training accident at RAAF Base Richmond when his parachute didn't open properly. Now, on Monday, Albanese went to the funeral, as did Opposition Leader Peter Dutton and many MPs from both sides of politics. And today, Albanese paid tribute to Jack Fitzgibbon as his family, his dad, his mum and some soldier mates watched on. But this was a tribute not just to Jack, but to all Australians who volunteered to defend our country.
From the day he enlisted in 2014, Jack was proudly part of something bigger than himself. He was numbered among the extraordinary men and women who volunteer to serve in the Australian Defence Force and do our nation proud every single day. What they do is crucial to everything we hold dear as a nation and as a people. The choice to serve is both an act of courage and a profound expression of love for our country.
Peter Dutton struggled repeatedly to get through his own tribute.
Greater than the national loss is the profoundly personal loss. A dedicated father has lost his only son. A devoted mum has lost her only boy. A dear partner has lost her life's counterpart. And two sisters have lost their darling sibling.
It wasn't all tears, but it was all love.
In the wonderful tributes from his dad, his mum and his sisters, we saw photos there in the church. I've got to say, almost every one of them he had a beer in hand. Reminds me of another Fitzgibbon that I know. It was a marvellous send-off from a family, from a defence force, from a community and from a nation that is proud of Jack Fitzgibbon.
And it was interesting to see, once politicians had been reminded of this greater thing that they serve, how the tone of Parliament instantly changed for the better, even if I have to report that it didn't last that much longer than what I'll show you. This was the first question after those speeches, and just listen to the tone, and there's no insults, there's no yelling.
Mr Speaker, it's hard to follow from what we've just heard, but my question is to the Treasurer. Since the election, the adult population has increased by over 1 million people. Meanwhile, home building completions are around a quarter of that. We are in a GDP per capita or family recession. The only thing left driving the economy is migration at a time when Labor's housing crisis is worsening. Why is this government taking our economy in the wrong direction?
I want to say this in a respectful way that reflects the respectful way that the Shadow Treasurer answered the question in the context today of the speeches that were given a moment ago.
You see what good is done when we do what is so rare now and remind ourselves of the good in this country, of the good of this country.